everybody, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about another aspect of sales. So we are wrapping up our 4-week series on sales. This month we've been talking about sales. The reason why is because back in July, I positioned or asked a poll. I put a poll out there and positioned the question of what are the top stressors in your life, in your business right now. And 26% of you who answered said that sales is the top stressor. So I wanted to make sure we talked about that. So we're going to talk about sales, but now we're going to talk about the art of mastering objections. Okay, we're going to talk about the art of mastering objections. And you all know, for some reason I'm not able to see the comments or anything like that, so I'm going to pull up on my other screen this so that I can make sure if there's any comments, any questions, I can address those really quickly. So again, we're going to be talking about sales, but today we're going to be talking about mastering objections, objection handling. So today is going to be short, it's going to be sweet, it's going to be to the point. So if you have any questions, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop those in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them as quickly as I can. So we all know that handling objections during our sales calls can be tricky. Okay. And I know it's not the most fun part of the process. I understand that, but it's something that we have to deal with, right? So whether it's about the pricing, whether it's about the timing, whether it's about just plain uncertainty, objections can really throw us off of our game, especially if we feel like we're flowing through that conversation really good. So here's the thing. Objections are not necessarily a bad thing. They're not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, they can be a sign that your potential client is interested, but maybe just needs a little bit more information or maybe needs a little bit of reassurance. Got that? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about handling these objections with confidence and maybe even turning some of them into opportunities. So I want to, if you're watching the replay, again, not a problem. Truly understand many of you are in your 9-to-5s. As Deborah, one of our amazing ladies here in the community, says, her silent partner. So I get that, not a problem at all. So if you're watching the replay, I would love for you to drop in the comments on a scale of 1 to 10. How confident do you feel when it comes to handling objections in your sales calls? How confident? And I want you to be honest. Drop that number in the chat. Let's talk about it. Let's dialogue. This isn't about judgment. It's just a way to see where we're starting at. Okay? Where we're starting. Not starting at, but starting. 1 is going to be the least confident. 10 is going to be, Karena, I'm through the roof. Okay? So let's talk about what objections really are. Here's the thing. Objections are not flat out no. They're not a flat out no. Okay? A lot of times people take them as a no, and a lot of times people take them on as rejection. But that's not what the client is saying 9 times out of 10. Sometimes it's a client's way of saying, I'm interested, but I just need a little bit more information. It might be their way of saying, I'm interested, but maybe I'm just kind of concerned about something. I'm concerned about something. And I don't have that full level of confidence. So that that when they say that objection, it's not always necessarily a bad thing. So instead of seeing that objection as a roadblock, think of it as an opportunity just to dig a little bit deeper and to build that trust with that potential client. That also gives you some insight, sometimes, not all the times, but it gives you some insight into maybe how you're relaying this opportunity to your ideal client. Okay? Could be. Could be. So there's three major objections that I come across when I'm talking to my clients and they say, well, Karena, this is what I'm dealing with. The first one is price. It's price. And you normally hear this in something like, it's too expensive, I can't afford it, it's out of my range, it's out of my budget, I don't have the funds, I don't have the resources. You hear all kinds of things surrounding that. Okay. Then the other thing could be, I'm not ready to commit right now. And that's really when they're talking about the timing of it. I've got so many other things that's going on, and I just don't really have the time for it right now. I'm in another program, and I just don't have the time for it right now. And we're going to talk about these. And then the third one is, I'm just not sure this is going to work for me. I just don't know if this is the right thing for me right now. I don't know. I don't really know about this right now at the moment. And what happens with that is that's the value. That's value. Okay. And so the key to really understand where these objections come from is to really drill down, dig deep into, being able to address them effectively. Being able to address them effectively. So I want to just give you a couple of tips first, and then we'll talk about just a little bit these specific objections. So the first thing, and I've told you all, listen, everything stems from the same thing, and it goes back to the same thing. You want to listen actively before you jump to a response. You want to listen to what they're saying. You want to listen without interrupting. You want to let them just continue to talk. Then once they're done, you want to reflect back to them what they've said. You want to say something like, what I think I hear you saying. My husband says that all the time because we went through active listening many, many years ago. And so he'll say that. What I think I hear you saying is. So this is something that you can easily repeat back to your potential client. What I think I hear you saying is XYZ. That's going to build that trust with them so that they know and understand they're being heard. They're being heard. Okay? For example, if they say something like, it's too expensive, you might, respond with, I hear that budget is a concern for you. Can you tell me more about that? The two of you might be able to come up with some type of plan. It might not be right now, but it might be in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months. Things will become a little bit lighter for them. Whatever the case may be, maybe you have payment options that you haven't talked about yet. So you want to be able to have that deep conversation with them, and then you want to empathize with them. Empathizing is when you are actually showing them that you understand where they're coming from. Doesn't necessarily mean you agree with them, but you acknowledge their concerns, and that can make a huge difference because that means you're not just sweeping by what they're saying. You can say something like, I completely understand why you'd be cautious about this particular investment. It's not a small investment. It does take faith to move into this investment. Let's explore how we can make this work for you. Things like that can be said. You want to clarify. You want to clarify because sometimes objections may be based on misunderstanding. This is where, you want to ask them just a few clarifying questions. You want to get to the root of the cause. You can say something like, is the price the only thing that's holding you back? Or are there other concerns that we should address? Very straightforward to the point. You want to make sure you're providing value. You want to make sure you're providing value. This is where you're going to highlight what they're going to get. What is their ROI? What's in it for them? Because highlighting this can really show them, listen, this is not me selling me. This is not even me selling a service. This is me showing you the possibilities of transformation in your life. Now, you don't want to say specifically that because that's coach word. Those are coach words. But you want to express that to them. You can say something like, the initial investment might seem high, but clients typically see a return within the first few months, provided they do the work and the follow through. So you could say something like that. And then the last thing is reframing. This is one of my favorite. It's about turning that objection into something positive. Like you could say, I'm not sure if this will work for you. Or if a client is saying, I don't know if this is going to work, you could say something like, I understand. So this is a satisfaction guarantee that I'm offering. Like if you have a guarantee of maybe not necessarily money being refunded, because again, it all hinges on them doing the actual work. But if you do the work, if you show up, if you commit, if you're doing all of the things, then the guarantee is that you're going to be satisfied with the product, with the service, with the results. So these are some ways that you can really handle these objections and not seem so salesy, which is, that's that's the turnoff right there. That's the turnoff. Coming in salesy is, just let me just overlook what you're saying. Let me overlook how you're feeling. And I'm just going to breeze by that. And I just want you to sign up. I just want you to sign up. And that's it. So when we look at specifically price, timing, and value, which are the big threes, 9 times out of 10, they have not really sat down and they don't see the value in what it is you're presenting to them. When they can see the value, then the cost, unless it's just really, truly a price barrier for them, the cost is not going to be an issue. They're going to be ready to go. The timing of it, if they understand the value, then it's a priority for them. If they are what I like to call problem aware and solution seeking, then the timing, they're ready to go. If they say that they don't know if they're ready to commit, then they're not really ready to be free from that problem that they're having. They're not problem aware and solution seeking. And then the value, they're not sure if it's going to work for them. A lot of times this really translates to they don't know if they're going to do the work. They don't know if they're going to do the work. They don't have faith in themselves. They've probably been in numerous other programs. They didn't see it through. They know they fell through. They know they didn't show up the way they were supposed to. So they know that there's some mindset things that they need to deal with. Maybe they procrastinate. Maybe they operate in perfectionism. The fight, flight, or freeze is in play. So today is going to be really short. I just wanted to go through the objection handling. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know, and I will be sure to touch back with you and answer those questions. DM me if you have any questions that maybe you don't want everybody else to see. You all know I'm always in my DMs. I try to answer as quickly as I can. But the objection handling is really those conversations. That is an opportunity to have a deeper conversation with your potential client. So again, drop your questions in the comments and I will be sure to answer them. So this is going to conclude the sales series for August. I'll let you all know probably next week what we're going to be dialing into in September. So be sure to stay connected and make sure you are really dialed in, answering your questions, asking your questions, and things of that nature. So I will talk to you all soon. Y'all have a good one. Bye for now.